Hey all y'all cigar box guitar gurus, old Dusty 3 Strings here. I want to start a little segment and go through the complete build of a cigar box guitar. So y'all hold on, we're going to get all the way in this. Now I'm going to try to get you as close as I can so you can see everything that's going on. But my shop is not really conducive to a bunch of different angles, so I'm trying to get the best one up front so you can see everything. Alright, so let's step in this thing. First, we're going to need a cigar box. This is my father's cigar box, Fonseca, whatever that means. Alright, so first thing I want to do is figure out on my box where I want my bridge to sit. Now keep in mind, we're going to be using a box that's going to be at least 1.5 inches to 2 inches thick. And this one is 2 1/16-ish. Alright, then you got to figure out, am I right-handed or am I left-handed? Okay, so once you figure out how thick your box is, how long, how wide, how deep, all that stuff, you're going to orient this thing. Now, I like my cigar boxes to close at the bottom. I don't like to glue my cigar boxes because then I can't get back in there to fix a neck or any kind of problem with the pickup or anything like that. So you got to orient the thing to where you want it. Now, if you're left-handed, you're going to want your neck to come out the right-hand side. If you're right-handed, you're going to want the neck to come out the left-hand side. So this is my front, my bottom, where the clasp is. That means that over here is where my neck's going to come out. The very next step, take your ruler. If you don't have a center finder, I got one of these here center finder thingy bobs from CB Giddy. I'm not an affiliate with CB Giddy, but that's where I get a lot of my crafting supplies from. But my box is 6 5/8 wide. Okay, so you got to find a center of 6 5/8. So you know that 6 is divided by 3 twice, right? So 3 is real close to center. Then you know a half is divided by quarters. So 3 1/4 will be getting really close to center. And then you got a whole nother 1/8 right there. So 3 1/4 and 1/16, right? Because you're about 5/8. So half of an 1/8 is a 16th. So I'm going to go 3 1/4 plus a 16th, which will give me 5/16. You don't say. Okay. Well, now let's mark that. If I can find a pensuela. Here's my pensuela. 3 5/16 right there. Now I can do this with my little marker bob here, and it does make it a little bit easier. But if you don't have one of these, get you one of these. I find center. Now this is where a single wide, depending on how you want to do your neck. Now if you just want to do a single neck coming out and you don't want to put no heel under there, nothing like that, use this. And you can still use this for this part. But I've got a double wide somewhere. That's why you got to keep up with your stuffs, man. Where my stuff's at? I don't know. I done losed it. Well, let's do the single wide. All right, so this single wide has got a mark, dead center. So I'm going to take that dead center mark and I'm going to put it dead center on the center mark that I made a while ago with my pencil. And then all we do is hold it real still and scribe it out. All right, it's going to look something like that, all marked up. Now, if you know you're going to have a heel on there, which is the same thickness as this, again, all you do is go to that line right there, line her right back up, and mark her out again. Just make sure you stay flat and flush. Well, that one didn't take too good, but it's on there. As long as we got this bottom right here, we'll always be able to go straight right here. There's tricks to it, but for right now, we're marked up. All right, I also know that I want my bridge to be about 2 inches from the end. So the opposite end of where you're putting your neck is where your bridge is going to go. So you take your ruler, put it down here on the end, And I go about 2 inches. So there's 2 inches there. I'm gonna slide it over just a little bit, put another little mark. Another 2 inches there. Alright. And that's gonna look like that yonder. So I got a 2-inch mark from the end where my bridge is gonna go. Now all of this is kind of relative right now. The bridge will move a little bit, and we're gonna have to figure out exactly where it's gonna be once we get everything put together. But that is the beginning of the beginning. The next thing you want to do is figure out what kind of sound hole you want in this thing. Now you can fill it full of wood and make a solid body guitar. That's up to you. Or you can leave it like it is, open, run your neck through there, establish where that's going to sit, and there you go. Bob's your uncle, whoever that guy is. But I'm going to put some of these here grommets. That's a 1/2 inch grommet. That there a 3/8 grommet. And that there a 1/4 inch grommet. Now you can get these at the Ace. That's where I got these. But I think I'm going to go like this. Alright, so here's the top of the box right here. This is what I'm going to be looking down to. So I'm going to put that, I think, in the center. A 3/8 here. A 3/8 here. A 1/4 here. And a 1/4 here. Now we get them lined up like we want them. Now there's going to be a bunch of measurements taken to make sure everything's sitting straight. But it's going to look like that. That's where your sound holes are going to be. Try not to dump them in the floor. Now you can do this in any kind of configuration. I got sound hole covers right here. So I got this big one. It's gold. I can put it down there like that if I wanted to. Whatever you come up with. You can get these in different colors or paint them. Put it down. Get you some of these. Those are pretty cool. Set a basket in there. And on this box, I probably could have got away with silver, but I think I'm going to use this brass look because the lettering is brass. But there you go. You got that laid out. Now, the only other thing you got to do is figure out where you want your jack to come in. Mine's going to come in down here, which is the below my neck on my right-hand side, so I can plug in. Oops. So I can plug in, and the cord will come out and be out of the way. Not down here, not up here. You can do it any way you want to, but this right here is kind of in the way. This over here lends itself to just drag off and not bother you. All right, so get those out of the way. Now the measurements is going to be on you to figure out where you want those things to be. All right, any configuration you want. It's your cigar box guitar. All right, so now we're just going to open her up. And these things right here are fairly easy to get off. If you want to take them off, sometimes you can just open the box up and wiggle it a little bit and they'll come off. I don't always do it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, depending on how aggravating the box is. But I got these little clamps on my bench right here. I'm not going to clamp it down, but I am going to lean it up against it so it don't move. Alright, well, I got this here saw. This here saw. And I think I'll put a link in the description of where to get this from. These things are awesome. A little bit floppy, it's bendy, so you ain't got to be all perfectly precise, but you want to be kind of straight. So I'm going to get down here, and I'm going to find this first line right here. And a lot of times now, this saw has a set on it. Some of your fret saws don't have a set, but this one does. So what I'll do is I'll take me a piece of stock, kind of like this, put it on that line right there, or just off of the line, set my saw in, and keep that block right there so I have a straight edge to go to. Now, like I said, these little pull saws like this can be floppy, but they cut great. And this is the top, so I'm going to go all the way to where this thing stops without scratching it all up. And when you hear it kind of loosen up, that's where you stop. Now the same thing for the other side. Go ahead and get that lined up right there like that. And you can go, make sure you're cutting on the inside of the line, because you can always widen it up later. You can't put any back. I mean, you can, there's a trick to it, but sometimes it don't look all that great. But that block that you're putting in there is going to help you stay real straight. All you got to do is keep daylight out of it. You'll be able to see it. Alright, y'all hear that noise where it just kind of stopped cutting? That means I'm at the end of that piece. Alright, so that's there. It's gonna look similar like that. Yep, Y'all pay no attention to that rooster. That ain't my rooster. He showed up out of nowhere. He just make a bunch of noise. And then that right there, a pop. Now that's coming off of the glue. Trick on some of these, like this guitar especially, or this box, got a bunch of paper on it. So get you one of these little razor blades and find where it's bending up at and cut that across so you don't pull all that paper off the top of it. Cut it from one cut spot to the other cut spot. And then just kind of roll it back like that. And sometimes some of these better boxes, right dead in the center where you got to cut this piece out, it's going to have a staple in it. So pay attention to that. That piece comes out there like that. And see how it didn't mess the paper up rolling all around it and snatch it off the front and mess up the paint and all that stuff. I'll just lay that down just like that. And you can come back, put a little dab of glue on it, make it stay, or you just go and cut it off. So, that is that part. Now, we have to turn it over and do the exact same thing going down the bottom of the box so our stock piece will fit in. Now, I got a piece, a little piece I do this with a lot of times. See, we're not quite to the line because it's below the lid. But I can see right there that that stock piece is going to fit in there because it's nice and tight and it's not overly wide. But now all we got to do is, because it didn't mark out great, I got one of these here squares. I'm going to square that off. If I can find the line, there it is. Quit looking, I found it. Take my pencil. I didn't mark it dark enough when I put that double wide or that single wide on there. Another good way is just come from the top. Use your mark that's already there. And like I said, if you go inside your line and you don't cut it quite deep enough, that is fine because you can always take a rasp or a chisel and get that out of there. You don't want to go too wide because you can't add it back. Alright, so I got my lines there, and now I know, and you can do this a bunch of different ways. You take these two pieces right here, because that'd be like simulating your neck and your heel. Close that box up good and tight. Make sure she's where she's going to be level right there. That'll be a flush mount in there. And I like to go just shy of where it's actually going to sit so I can chew down in there. Now, a good little trick for this is, not this big old bit, but you take your little drill bit, out the way. Take your little old drill bit, put it in your little old drill, and you come right down to the bottom line right there. We're going to cut out. See, it's right on that brown line right there. Go just above the line and just inside the corner like that. Drill a hole there and a hole there. Staying on that same line like that all the way across that boy. Making your little connected dots. Just drill it out. Then you're going to look like that. Dot it off across there. Now that is not as low as that's going to be, but you want to stay up higher so you can ease down to it. You don't want to try to cut it all out at one time. Trust me. Now we're going to take our little saw again, put our block back in place, get everything nice and square, get your saw on the line. And pull down there to where you just put those marks with your drill. Remember, this is a work of fun, not a work of perfection. And and you bought the hole saw, use the hole saw. Don't sit there and jam it back and forth. Run the saw back and forth. This is a pull blade. It cuts on a pull stroke. Alright, so now I did the connected dots down there. All I got to do is pop that boy loose. And you're going to look something like that. Now don't judge me if everything ain't straight. I told you we can clean that up. But you see how jagged that is on the bottom? No problem. Ain't no problem. Take the little sticks here. See, that don't fit in there. See, I'm a little bit tight. That is good. Now I can take my files and my rasp and go in there and clean them corners up and make it fit just right. The top, I can get away with it. I can clean that up, get my teeth marks off of it, and that'll sit in there just right. The bottom, on the other hand, a little bit tight. It's a good thing. So what I'm going to do, pull all this apart. You're going to notice there's a lot of do this, check it. Do that, check it. Do this, check it. It's just a repeat over and over again. All right, I got this little, it's a file rasp with a chisel on the end. These things are cheap. I mean, cheap. But I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to file this out and make everything straight. I can see my line still because I didn't take it all off. And unless you've got a bubble on there, you don't want to take everything out from the same side. You want to take some from this side and some from that side. But this side is kind of got a bend in it. Take that out like that. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going right here inside this hole and run this rasp on there. Get her flattened out. And you want to check it every so often. You don't want to just go crazy with it. See, I cleaned that up slightly, and now my top is getting really close to fitting perfectly. Alright, and my bottom, now I'm getting in there. So now all I got to do is make sure my line stays straight so everything fits. We getting there. And be careful with some of these. That rasp right there has got a little side file on the side up right there, and if you get that thing in the corner, you'll eat up your corner and you'll have all kind of weird light going through there and you ain't gonna like it. The trick is to keep everything flat and straight. Do a little bit and check it. Alright, so now that's fitting in there almost banging straight. Not quite perfect, but we're getting there. And this piece at the top, that's fitting in there almost banging straight, but not perfect yet. Now, once we get everything filed down and smooth, we can put both of them pieces in there and this boy close like it's supposed to. Alright. She's in there tight. Close it back up. Make sure we're staying straight. Now, when you're putting tension on these boxes, keep an eye out on the lips right there, because you will get these things all kind of whacked up and they won't be straight. And then when you try to go and close them up again, because you put so much pressure on them, your lines won't be straight and your neck won't go in correctly. Alright, so now, keep going in this fashion. That ugly off the bottom before I put through with the drill. My little connected dots at the bottom. I ain't really taking anything off of that. I'm getting it down to the line, but I'm just dressing that ugly up. It just had a bunch of ugly in it. And you can see by how fast my hand is moving, I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure on this. You don't have to. These boxes are really easy to deal with. Just make sure all your lines are straight. That's all we're doing. This is the first steps till you get to it. Put those pieces in there like that. Okay, so now we can see that we're getting really close to having that guitar work. Still a little high, So I still got to bring down. Remember I told you when I drilled those holes, I was above the line. Now I got to bring that down to where both of these pieces fit in there. And the reason it's both pieces is because if that's your neck and that's your heel coming out of your guitar right here, these two pieces are going to be sitting in that hole. All right? And there's a kabillion different ways you can do this. And you can leave it like this and cut you a little notch in the bottom here and make that neck roll back. Or you can make sure everything's good and flat and go in there and fit perfectly. And I'm just about, I don't know, about 1/8 of an inch too high. It's not even that much too high, about a little more than 1/16. So I can keep going like this. I'm telling you, it don't take much to get these boxes cut in. You can do this at the dining room table. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. It don't make just a little bit of mess. And I'm using that chisel to clean out the corner because this thing don't get into the corner all that great. I'm just gonna chisel that out. These boxes are relatively soft, so don't go crazy. And you can see from right there just what I did. All the sawdust come out of it. It don't take much. Alright, so now we got that. Let's see if we're flat and square. Ain't quite square yet, not sitting all the way down. So let's figure out where we're not square at, and it's right there in them corners. So I'm going to take that piece. And you don't have to have a chisel. You can do most of this with an X-Acto knife. You can actually do some of this. I mean, go to Goodwill and get you a steak knife. These boxes will cut just that easy. See if I can't square that up a little bit. See how square we got. Almost as. Another trick is take your little saw like this and use the side of your set on your blade and just kind of, it's kind of like rasping it. Don't try to cut it, just kind of rasp it out. It gets down into the corner a little better. And then because this blade is shorter than the size of your neck, you can turn it sideways and get in that corner too. And if you hold it just right, you'll be flat the whole time. And all you'll do is chew out what you need to chew out, and everything else will stay. This is part of the fun. We're almost dead on now. Got something popping there stopping me. Oh. A little bit high right here. That's what's going on. There are faster ways to do this that you'll figure out once you build enough of them. And if you're confident enough with power tools, it goes way faster if you open this box up and put it on a table saw. But like I said before, I use that kind of stuff in my day job. I'd rather do this when I'm in the shop. Ain't no big hurry. If you're building them for somebody, they see it's a work of art. It usually takes about 2 weeks for me to get one done. Not because it always takes that long, but because I'm going to take my time. Give everything the chance to set. Because y'all know that wood glue is set in like 30 minutes and you can start messing with it, but I don't like that. It'll be a 24-hour thing. Alright, so now we're down there. We're dead flat in there. corners. Let's do it like this so you can see how it actually looks if it had a heel on it. We'll see where we're at as far as closing this thing up. Almost there. I can get it clasped. Oh, I see. See, we're a little high on the top now, and it's pulling. So we're going to take this off of here, and we're going to work this top real quick. Right there in that corner. Just rasp off that paper real quick. I'm going to do the same thing with my saw, because I can see what's holding it. Just a little nubbins. Like I say, you ain't got to be rough with this thing. This saw cut it. And turn it sideways to make sure it's good and flat. So that's going to sit flat now. That's in there. Alright, so now, simulating the guitar neck, the heel is in there. And it's only sticking out so far, right? And it's got that 45 on it. And this neck sticking in here. Now then. And it's always a wiggle thing. You always gotta catch the wiggle. Make sure everything's straight. Make sure your box is square still. And make sure your clasp is gonna hit correctly. Because like I said, putting pressure, if you don't take these hinges off, you're always going to end up having to put back pressure on it to make that sit back flat, to make the box squared up. But as far as the neck in the box, that's her right there. She in there good and tight. Everything shuts. Okay, and see there, you're scintillating your neck. That'll be your neck sticking out there and your heel coming out the box, just like that. Easy as pudding pie, y'all. Next thing we're going to do is figure out where we're going to set these. Now, I would suggest getting you a set of Forstner bits. A Forstner bit is that critter right there. It cuts in there pretty good. That's one too big for what I'm fixing to do. But Forstner bits, I'll put a link in the description so you can find what you need. Like I said, the big one is a 1/2 inch. And now when I say this is a 1/2 inch right here, the bottom part, that little opening. And you can use a 1/2 inch that just barely gets, or you can go a little bit bigger, because what you're going to do is put a little dab of glue down here anyways, and it's going to hold it. Because you don't want those things, you can friction fit them in there and they're fine, but sometimes these things will rattle if you don't glue them down. But got the Forstner bit, and this is that's about as tight as you want to get. I don't know that I'll use that one for this one, but it's perfect for this one. Just a little bit bigger than the hole, which gives us plenty of room for the bevel to go over the top of the guitar. Now it's too big for the 1/4 inch. You can sink that whole 1/4 inch grommet in there. Don't want to do that. But what we're going to do now is find center of the box on the top. 9 1/2. What's half of 9? 4 1/2. What's half of a half? It's a 1/4. So 4 1/2 plus a 1/4 will be 4 3/4 is center of that box. Okay. So we know that's center. Which is kind of cheating because there's an S right dead in the center of this one. But now all you want to do is figure out where you want. Probably have to do it upside down so you can tell exactly where your bevel's going to hit on these things. If that one's going dead center like that, that means you want this to inset. Oh, there it is. Quit looking, I found it. You want this to inset. I want to kind of get in between this line and that, so I'm going to see what that is. Dead center is an inch. Get dead center. There we go. 1 inch and 3/8 is from that top line there let's go from the outside to dead center. It's almost an inch and 7/8. How about let's do it like this? You ain't got to be perfect. Eyeball that boy. Alright, so there's center. Then you got to figure out how far away you want these other ones to be. And do you want them to teardrop? Do you want them to go straight? You want them to run and look just like the logo going around. Keep in mind now, well, this is not a bridge, it's just a piece of what I would use for a bridge. Probably not even long enough, I need to see. Yeah, it's about long enough, 2 1/4 inches. I'm gonna put that right there on my 2-inch spot. Make sure you don't put anything right there. So this is gonna have to go up, out of the way, like that. I can make that touch there, and then bring these down like this. You can do it like that, or we can just go straight out. Make everything touch that little chocolate line right there. Just straight. And that kind of gives it a nice angled look going up because everything's round going back up the hill. Anyways, that's our next step. Cut in these holes, and this part will be done until we get the neck done. Alright, I'm gonna go on and do that. I'm gonna put the sound holes in here, get all that finished out. The next video, I'm gonna put a neck together for you so you can see how that's done step by step, and then we'll fit that neck in this box. Now, between now and then, when you see this video, let me know, should we, and I may just go on and do it this way anyways. I may just take the neck and make it a through neck, so the neck will come through here and then come out the other side. I think I may just do that for simplicity so everybody can see what we're working with. You're going to have that piece down there anyway so you can run your string, so I'll just go and do that. Alright, well that's all I got for now, y'all. Come on back. We'll see this kind of finished out, and we'll get the rest of it built. Alright, bye.